welcome to Everyday Petrolhead. I'm your host, Terrence Anderson, and welcome to my channel. So what are we going to discuss today? Now, I used to be the guy who, you go to car meets, you don't talk, you don't look at anything, you don't ask questions, But here's the thing. When you go to a car meet, what you're looking at is guys who are just like you. At some point in their life, they were just like you. They either didn't have a car, or they had a little something small, and they just started off in this game, or they're just fanatic lovers of vehicles in general. And truth be told, there's nothing wrong with going to the car meet and being a little green behind the ears. Now, etiquette for this situation, at least this is what I feel is proper etiquette for the situation, is when you go to the car meet, don't be afraid to walk up to a guy and ask him about his car. I guarantee you, he wants you to ask him about his car. He didn't bring it out here, or she didn't bring it out here for her to display this thing just for you to walk by and say, nice. Yeah, that's a beautiful 535. What's going on under the hood? Oh man, it's an M54 motor. I got new headers and manifolds and header for headers and manifolds are the same thing. They got new headers. You got catless exhaust. I got a JB4 tune on the turbo, and ECU's doing blah blah blah. And they will tell you everything. And it's because they love their vehicle so much, are passionate about their vehicle. They just want to talk about it. And it's okay to ask questions. Things you don't ask when you're at a car meet. Don't ask them what they do for a living. Now, what did you do for a living to afford buying this Ferrari? He doesn't have to tell you that, or she doesn't have to tell you that. That's not really your business. If they volunteer that information, that is great. I had the pleasure of talking to a gentleman who owned a Ferrari F12 TDF at Malibu Cars and Coffee. That's usually the one I tend to go to. If not, I go to Sunset GT, because those are both in my general area. And his F12 TDF with the baby blue was a beautiful car. I believe when he purchased it, he paid 1.7 for it. I was like, damn, 1.7? That's crazy. And rather than sit here and say, what do you do for a living? Or how did you afford this car? Instead, I admired the vehicle. I wowed him kind of with the fact that I actually knew what it was. Not that I just knew that it was F12. Just the fact that I actually knew a little bit about the lineage of the car. And then he started opening up and telling me a little bit more about his collection. He has a couple of Porsches, a Lamborghini, nice house in Malibu somewhere. And he was like, man, I bring my toys out because my wife doesn't appreciate it. She just wants to drive her G-Wagon. So, it is what it is. And I thought it was interesting, and I laughed about that. But it was just overall a great conversation. And from that experience and the conversation with him, he told me what he did for a living. He ended up being a TV executive. He was like, it pays to do what I do, so I'm able and fortunate to buy these things. And he told me a little bit about it, and I was amazed. I'm not going to disclose that information because that's his private information. That's the other thing. Guy tells you what he does, or lady tells you what she does for a living. Don't go blabbing to everybody what he or she does. You don't want that person to have people bothering them at their place of work. People do that crap. That happens. Then you got to think beyond yourself when you're dealing with people. So it's always good etiquette to consider, maybe I shouldn't say more than the fact that, oh man, I met this guy, his car was awesome, this is what I learned about it, and yeah, he works in TV. Leave it at that. No need to share, oh yeah, he works for NBC Universal. No, the guy does not work for NBC Universal. Using it as an example. Another thing to do is to consider partnering with various people, that you meet at Cars and Coffee. Sometimes you get up in groups that do group drives, which can be kind of cool, up and down the coast. I'm fortunate to live in California near Malibu, so I'm able to experience the PCH drive, and it's an amazing drive with a bunch of people. You can also find dealerships sometimes out there showcasing higher end cars. I know Ford came out and showcased the new Ford GT, and Mercedes comes out sometimes. Acura comes out with the NSX and a few other things. It's always good to get to know some of these people, because you never know when you have an opportunity to go and drive these things, or you have an opportunity to get to know about a car that you're interested in buying. Also, don't be the guy or girl who goes to the meet and say, oh wow, you bought a Lamborghini, blah, blah, blah. It cost you $600,000. That is a huge waste of money. You know how many cars I could buy with that? I could buy like 100 Corollas, 300 Corollas. Actually, more like 1,000 Corollas probably. With that $600,000, don't be that guy or girl. Don't do that. These people have either worked hard to get where they are, or they may have inheritance or whatever. Either way, you're getting access to check out these vehicles. Some guys will let you, or girls will sometimes let you even sit in the car. I had an opportunity to sit in a BMW 2002. I always forget the specifications for that. I know it's one that's not hasn't survived. I know it's a classic, and it's one of the ones that didn't really hold up well over time. So when you find one out in the wild, it's kind of amazing to see how well someone has taken care of it. And gentlemen let me sit inside of it and check it out. He redid the interior with real wood and the wood grain for the dash. And, you know, the clutch felt amazing. He was like, yeah, man, I love this thing. My wife wants me to get rid of it, but I love it. And he kept it very well maintained. So, you know, always be the respectful one when it comes to talking to people. Or even like the grandfather that I met, who owned not one, not two, but 3 Dodge Hellcats/Demons. So 2 of them were full-on Demons, and 1 was a Hellcat. His wife owned the second Demon, or I should say he bought the second Demon for his wife. They have a fabrication business south of here, and they basically made money redesigning cars. And he had 3 of them at Cars and Coffee, and they were amazing. And just really chill dude to talk to. So excited about this, you know. And then he told me about his collection. You know, he had an old Supra, and of course everybody has a couple of Porsches. It seems like a staple of most car collections is to have at least 1 or 2 Porsches. But yeah, I mean, just be chill with people. And finally, the last question I have to say, I think is probably the best question. When you walk up to somebody's car, and if it's open or the windows are down, ask permission before stepping into the car. Don't just, oh wow, that's cool, and stick your head all the way in the window, you know, or open the door. Ask permission. Most of these people will be so courteous to let you take a look inside the vehicle, or even let you sit in the vehicle, you know, but at least ask before you do it. And if your kids are into it, bring them to the car, to Cars and Coffee, or one of these car meets. You know, what I found with my daughter, I brought her to one, and she loved it. And there was another gentleman there with his kid, and honestly, they couldn't get enough of it. I mean, the kid was super excited. He sat in everything. I mean, everything. And him and his dad always ask permission to the owner. So always think about that. Always make sure you do that. So there you have it. It's okay to be the guy or girl who doesn't know anything, and it's okay to be the person who knows everything. Just don't be. If you like what I've been talking about, like, share, and subscribe, and join me next time with your everyday petrol head. I gotta go deal with this traffic.